So, I will accept your apology in any number of ways. You can cook on the grill, take us camping.
You two after having watched it.
Having watched it. So, I take great pleasure in this episode after having watched the film. Chris and I have not discussed it yet, but after stop it, I'm talking. I'm relishing this moment. I'm relishing this moment where I'm going to beg you for an apology.
Should be forgiveness.
But... No, I was right. I was right somewhere in there, but we'll get into that. And this is the episode after us having watched The Departed, and now we're going to discuss it and get into the meat of it. So hope you enjoy. Ooh, that's a fancy mic.
No, it's not. Don't start.
Yeah. Now I gotta get me one.
Well, it's got this fancy little,
Ooh, that could be a cool kid too. You guys sent me the link where you got it from.
Well, the other thing I noticed is people are always fidgeting with it, so it gives me something to play with.
That's something. Hi, Too Bad.
Hi, Too Bad. How we doing tonight?
Good. It's been a long day. I haven't really been wanting to be at work. It's such a lame thing to drone on about it, considering the state of the world and everything. But we're still really bummed that we didn't get to the house.
Yeah. No. Hey, I get it. Totally.
So
trust me, when I dropped my camper.
Oh my God! You got to tell me about that. How the hell did it come unhitched?
Don't know. Well, here's the stupid. Wow. Okay, I got a theory, but the stupid thing is, if you forget a step or something, they have what you call a pull test, which I do every time. Yep. Basically, you hook the camper up and you lift the jacks up an inch or two off the ground, and then you move, so that if something didn't hitch right or it wasn't quite latched, it'll pop out and just fall to the jacks, which are only an inch or two off the ground. No big deal, no truck damage. Did the pull test. Pulled just fine. Going down the road is about 15, 20 minutes down through Johnson, and all of a sudden it's this horrendous bam. So I immediately hit my brakes, look up, my camper is like 30 feet back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're lucky somebody didn't run into it.
Oh, I know. Wow. Luckily, the breakaway worked, and luckily, I was only going like 20, 25 because it was in Johnson.
Sure. Oh,
otherwise, those jacks,
or something. Yeah.
Those jacks would have hit and just crumpled, and it probably would have totaled the fucking thing.
Really?
That's my guess. Yeah. So now I'm really nervous about towing it. It's like.
So, but you don't know what.
Well, there's a locking bar.
Lock it or something.
There's a locking bar and a pin you put through it. Now, I was a little frazzled, obviously, when I was looking in the back of the truck and trying to figure out what happened.
Right.
But I think the locking bar had the pin in it, and it was free moving. So somehow I missed the pin going through the hitch lock itself and just put it through the bar. So the bar hit a bump or something, and it popped out because the pin and everything. So, yeah, it's a stupid mistake, but.
No, that's scary shit though.
It was very scary because I told Tricia, I'm like, if we'd been going on the interstate and we had been doing 70 miles an hour, lots of bad things would have happened to the camper, whoever
was behind it. Yeah. Oh man.
So, anyway, life sucks and we go on.
Yeah, well, like you said, thank God there's insurance and no one was hurt.
Yeah, that was the big thing. And once I kind of got that wrapped around, it's like, you know what, and there's very little to no damage to the camper, so it's like I'm just worried about getting the truck fixed.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know, I'm assuming insurance covers that somehow.
Oh yeah, I put my claim in.
Yeah.
I haven't heard back from them, but now like Hannah or Hunter had to do it. It's all through like an app. It's an app, and you take pictures and film, and then they send you a check and you go get it fixed.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
yeah, that's all you can do.
Yep, but hey, vacation Friday, so excited
Yeah,
about that. Can't
exactly. You guys have been waiting a long time.
wait. Yeah, yeah, and
So your truck is still capable of making that trip.
yeah. So luckily, I have my little pocket knife on me. I just cut the backup camera wires because it
Uh,
was hanging by that. I mean, the thing's
sure.
crumpled. I'll have to send you pics of it, but
Yeah.
not a
Cats.
great memory, but
Yeah, no, cats love to see that though.
So yeah, so no, truck's still totally drivable. I just
Okay.
ordered one of those cargo nets
Yep.
to fill in as a tailgate
Sure.
because all of our luggage is going to be back there.
Yeah.
Obviously, won't be as much this time. There's only
Sure.
6 of us going, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, Jeff's still going, so.
I've already warned them. I'm like, dude, one suitcase for each. Yeah, like Trisha's putting in one big duffel bag and a backpack, and I think that's all Tanya's bringing. So,
What's the temperature supposed to be down there?
looking at it, mid 70s to 80.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all week.
we're supposed to hit 80 here on Saturday again.
Yeah, like mid. Yeah, I think it's a warm front coming through because ours is like midweek. We hit like 80 on Tuesday or Wednesday or something.
What when do you leave again?
We leave Saturday
Friday.
morning at like 2.
Yeah. So, okay, right.
Yeah, because we can't check in till 4 now because of
Right.
their extensive cleaning processes and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But we're all set up. I hooked up with them. I was able to upload Trisha's ID, so we got a drive-through thing we're gonna do.
Yep.
When we get down there, we drive through the parking lot. Give them the name. They pull up the ID. Look, yep, good. Here you go. Here's the packet. Off we go.
Very nice.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah, you guys have gotten rooked on two cruises.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Exactly.
And maybe 3. So
Don't even. Yeah. Hey,
oh yeah, don't even. You're in that one.
Yeah, if it happens, man, I'm turning around and putting her right on the Hawaiian cruise.
That's what Trisha said too. I think that's what we're gonna do.
It just makes the most sense
because it's spent money. It's like, we'll just put it.
Yeah, we've already been saving for it and putting away. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yep. Yeah. Hide the door. That's nice. Vader's peeking.
It was bugging me that it was like up over the wall. So
yeah, I'm talking to you like you could hear me. You didn't have the earbuds in. I said, "Yeah, hide the door." Vader's peeking.
But so I picked this up on Amazon and
send me the link for it. So because you sound pretty good. So because I'm tired of holding the mic and
that was the other thing, and I hated the ear set, like the big,
I don't mind that so much, but I want to make sure what Wi-Fi I'm on here because it keeps chopping a little bit. Yeah, I'm on the right
now I'm curious here. Tell me if you notice a difference. Okay. How's that? Is that the same? Different?
Do it in reverse. Say something before you move it away, though.
On.
Mm-hmm.
Off.
Nah.
Okay.
I don't really hear any difference, but my ears aren't, exactly tuned.
Wow. And that's fine, I'm sure. But I didn't want the big shield thing in front of it. It's for spittle and stuff,
Right. I think it's also, it'll help with, like,
because if you're
every once in a while you can hear me breathe into it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is, so like you'll hear like that spittle and stuff. Apparently, from what I've read.
Yeah.
It causes little static, little bumps, whatever in the audio.
Yeah, no, but you sound clear and you're not having to be right on the mic like I tend to be. So I don't know how clearly like this. I almost sound like I feel like I'm too far away from the mic, but does it sound okay?
No, that sounds fine.
Oh, okay. So maybe I don't have to be DJ voice. So I will accept your apology in any number of ways. You can cook on the grill, take us camping.
Well, I will admit, okay. So again, now did you just rewatch it again?
I did, and
Okay.
I watched it with Kath, and it was, like a day or two before you said you were going to
Right.
watch it,
Okay.
whatever. So
So I haven't seen it. This was the first time I watched it,
right,
like we spoke about, and gosh, since it came out roughly.
right.
So they did not go off once they were in the meeting.
There's a
Like
very slight, obvious, when I watched it the second time, time lapse, because they get there, then it goes to the scene with Jack Nicholson and his girlfriend. He's obviously not there. He's at the house, so there's a passage of time you don't witness. And then it goes to back to them at the waiting. And
well,
then
they weren't. They were
drive
in the.
up.
I think they were in the car on the way there.
No, because there's a scene where he's sitting on his couch, and I can't remember what the girlfriend says. She says something about going to choir practice or something like that. And again, there's so much that goes on in that movie and so many scenes. I'm trying to remember what exactly the scene is, but what I witnessed is they show you what's his name's character, Matt Damon, showing up at the scene, bewildered about what's going on,
Right.
brought up to speed. Then it cuts to Jack Nicholson at home. He's in his bathrobe, I even think, still, and the girlfriend's going to choir practice. And then it cuts back to Matt Damon and everyone getting ready for this sting, and then the cars drive up. So there's a passage of time by that says it didn't happen as soon as Matt Damon walked in the door that he alerted him. So there was a passage of time.
Well, and I don't think it's because what I did pick up on too was, so Queenie, played by Martin Sheen, did give him the odd stare, like when phones go down. So it isn't. So it was suspicious.
It was suspicious a little bit, but he was just like, without like really.
Right, but he's like, so yeah. I think, and then so while it wasn't as blatant or obvious as I put it, or as I remembered it as being.
Right. That was easy to miss. I'll give you that.
And again, a lot of years had passed, but again, sure. I think too, like, and again, rewatching it, like the whole, when Queenie's killed. Yeah. Like the whole story of them killing their own mole.
Well, I even learned something, and this is like the third or fourth time I've watched it, because I never picked up. Well, funny backstory. Well,
you're a slow learner. So.
No. Well, the funny backstory to it is we watch a lot of movies because usually when we go to bed, we don't want to have the TV too loud. So we actually turn on the closed caption. So if we miss something, we probably can read it real quick before it disappears. So a lot of times we're watching movies that way now. We just never shut it off when we're watching. No, it's actually pretty cool for this particular reason. Because when the guy that you think works for Jack Nicholson gets shot at the end in that shootout with where they just threw Queenie off the top of the building, he says something to DiCaprio's character as he's dying, basically, and he says, I can't remember if he says, "You know why I knew you were the mole? Ask me," but then he says, "Ask me why I didn't say something."
Yes.
I thought originally he said, I thought he said something else, but now that I know what he actually said, it's stuck in my head. But I thought he said something to the effect of, something to cover for him. And I mean, obviously that's what it was, but I interpreted it differently. So now when I watched it, I'm like, he was, because then they come out and say he was the other mole in there, and which now makes more sense because by the end of the film you find out that Matt Damon's not the only mole inside the and his partner all along has been the other mole. So that was an interesting surprise. So it's
I was wrong on how obvious I had put it, but again, He was. So I felt a little better about it in that sense. Like I said at the beginning, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fantastic, the acting, everything.
Yeah.
I said what I didn't like was the writing on more of like Matt Damon's side of it, how nobody seemed suspicious, but I was wrong because Queenie did get suspicious.
Right.
And again, when I'm watching it this time, like Matt Damon's story with when a high-ranking cop is killed, like his story of, well, they killed their mole because he wasn't used anymore, or it's like it just, I don't know, it just didn't seem to jive.
Which mole?
Queen. Wow. So Matt Damon, Sullivan.
Oh,
his story he spun was that Queenie was the mole.
Right.
So like, and again, one of those guys was the other mole, Matt Damon's counterpart.
Yeah.
So I get why he wouldn't ever raise suspicion or question it, but the other guys that were, in the car, because there was 3 or 4 of them through that whole process with the stakeout and blah blah blah.
Right.
So,
well, my understanding is Matt Damon sent them after Queenan because he thought Queenan was meeting with his.
Yes, that's
mole.
what. Yeah, he took Queenan's own advice.
Yeah.
He goes, "You want to find the mole? Follow him." He goes, So that's why he put him on him. Now the cops he put on him, obviously are good cops, like they're, except for the one we find out later. But no, so for them to watch in his whole reaction through it all, it just, again, I just thought it's like, come on, is everybody blind here? And to the fact that the thing that even points it out more blatantly is that he never actually gets caught by the cops, outed. Oh. Now, it gets taken care of.
It does. And I couldn't remember how. And it's by the fact that DiCaprio gives the shrink that envelope and says, if anything ever happens to me, make sure this gets to, or open this. And it must say, get this to Dictum. And he had Dickum in, or whatever his name was. And he had all of the tapes that, had the wiretaps and all of that. Yeah. And that was proved. So Marky Mark goes and caps him.
Right. But, and again, I very, like, it just, there were so many coincidences that no of the cops really pick it up. And I get that Sullivan is a mole, and the other guy you find out at the very end is also a mole. So obviously those two aren't going to be, digging into it at all. But it just, and don't get me wrong, I still love the movie, but I just find they portray the cops to really kind of be dumb. Like, especially Baldwin's character, which I think is always, I think that's on purpose.
Yeah,
like,
I think
they always make one so.
Yeah, well, it wasn't dumb. I mean, the story was well written in the fact that you can't really pull it apart because, the secrets or the unsuspected things like the extra moles were written in there in such a way that there's no way you would know that. Because they don't show you them acting suspiciously. The only two you're following are Sullivan and DiCaprio's character, which I'm blanking on his name.
William Costello.
Costigan Jr.
Costigan,
yeah. So, those are the only two of your focus, which makes sense. And then you can go, hey, look, there were 2 more moles,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the whole mystery.
Very well written. I was trying to figure out who wrote it. And
I just, even that, my impression is still, even after watching it, is it's like someone else should have kind of, and it's like I forget the guy's name, but he was also in Transformers. I love him, but he's the guy towards the end that gets killed. The one that eats all the donuts in Transformers.
Oh, is that Anthony Edwards? Is that him?
Is that his name?
Now you're making me guess. Yeah.
But anyway,
sorry.
Like, I thought it would have been cool at the end. Huh?
Anthony. We watch shit. I'm blanking on his name, but we watch To Tell the Truth, and he's the host. And I think it's the guy you're talking about. So I was just looking it up. To tell.
Yeah, he's the heavy set guy.
Truth. Yeah, Anthony Anderson. I
Okay,
think I said
Anderson.
Edwards.
You did,
I
because
did.
totally
Yeah.
different guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
Is that who
um,
you were talking about though?
yeah,
Anthony Anderson? Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he's
So,
in Kangaroo
like,
Jack.
in the sense, like, if they at least made him, because I get where DiCaprio's talking to him while he's got the gun to Sullivan. He's like, I got tape, I got proof, blah blah blah, and he's doing his that may be true, and he's going along with it. But it would have been better if they had shown that he had been kind of questioning Sullivan like that,
Right.
because he
Right.
was along for the ride for a few of the things that's like,
Well, and again, I'm so bad with their names um, but Marky Mark's character didn't trust anyone.
no,
And I loved his character
right,
in the film. He just relentless against DiCaprio, William Costigan Jr. and but calling him out for exactly what he was and what they needed him to be, and just needed him to understand that we know what you are and we know what you did. We need you to do it again.
right. We know what you can do. Yeah, we know what
Yeah.
you're capable of.
Yeah.
You're probably the only guy we got that could
Right.
pull this off.
And because, well, I think it was well crafted because Sullivan's character was written in such a way that he was already infiltrated into, Jack Nicholson's
Oh, at a very, very young age.
at a very young
Absolutely.
age. So he's been hiding it for a long time, and it's kind of interesting that whatever he might have been doing for him, you could go back and say, well, he would have thought the cops would have been on to him if he was working for him in some fashion way back then as a kid and would know him. But he obviously kept his nose clean, and maybe that was the whole plan, was to get him into, trooper school and get him in there. But they wrote it in such a way that he rose very fast, and then they immediately made him the one to look for and try to capture Jack Nicholson's character.
Right.
So it ended up being there wasn't going to be any suspicion because he's already put in that place to find himself. So yeah, it was really well written. And you knew he was part of the bad guy from the beginning.
Right. You do, and that was the thing, though. And they, that's the other thing with the Baldwin's character. Like, they know it's his unit that's got a mole, and I forget at what point, but I think it was through the misinformation they started feeding through.
Yes.
But they knew it came from his unit. So why would you pull someone in it's just one of those things that there was just. I don't know. I just think they portray the cops to be kind of really, not just one of them, because there's always one. There's always one Buford T. Justice, because they always gotta have one. But they kind of make the whole department seem like that,
Yeah.
Except for Queenie and Marky Mark's character, but
Dignam.
Yeah, but. So all in all, my overall impression was the same. Still loved it. Still find the writing on the whole cops being pretty inadequate. Just I don't know. I again love the movie. Still loved it, but I just like going, really? No one else sees this, and I get that you're privy to things they're not. But on the scenes where everybody's on, like eyes on, like the whole scene with Queenie's death.
Yeah.
When all eyes are on, like there's a bunch of guys seeing it. It's like, nobody. Yeah,
but there was nobody else there other than the crew. Sullivan is never there intermixed with them. He's more just like their an informant. So he never really gets his hands dirty other than, if someone were to find out that he had 2 cell phones.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, no, between the lines. So he's the one that put him on Queenie, right? They're like, really? So
well, they did question him. They're like, why am I following the Sarge?
And then, so they follow him into the building, and he says, wait. And then this whole boatload of bad guys come with guns running. that right there is not to meet an informant, okay?
Yeah.
First off, you don't bring a crew of 10 guys to meet an informant. Secondly, you don't come armed and running into the building. And that's why the cops in the car were like, well, dude, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Like, there's a whole army just ran. He's like, sit tight. And they're like, what? And they actually finally go against him and run out of, and pursue after.
Yeah.
But again, none of them, and I know one of them you find out later on, spoiler, is a mole and blah, blah, blah. But again, that's where I think Anthony's character, because he was one that was mixed up all in it, should have went, dude, he had us follow him. Then, the Sarge turns up dead. And
well, they didn't know that at the time. They're like, something fell off the building, fell off the building, and they didn't know. They were just told to follow Queenan, and they, I believe, were under the impression that he was gonna, that he was the mole.
Yes, well, that's what Sullivan told them.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what Sullivan told them, and they're going on that, and he didn't really give them anything else. He's just like, follow him. And then all hell starts breaking loose. So I don't think could have put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, but they're like, dude, they all just ran in with guns blazing.
Right.
And he's like, sit tight. Like, even they were questioning that because he tells them, sit tight. And they're all looking at each other going, what are you doing?
Yeah, because that's the captain, why, or the captain.
Whatever he ended up being,
yeah. And why are we not going in to help? That I give you is definitely suspicious.
But because these are all guys too that have been there, for the meeting with the no phones and that whole. So that's what I'm saying. Not everybody, but there's 2 or 3 key guys that were around for 2 or 3 of these coincidences. Enough for them to be going, man, something not right with him. Something off.
Yeah, well, especially when they start questioning why he's, sending them after Queenan, following him around, and then this won't let him go in and act on it. But that's the end of the movie, and
yeah, but even if, like I was saying, so then he comes up with this BS story that, they killed their own informant.
Yeah.
And they're all, knowing what you knew going up to that point, you would be going, really? That's what we think happened?
Right, yeah.
That's where we're going with. That's what I mean in terms of that.
Yeah, because he ends up recommending William Costigan for Medal of Merit.
Yes.
But I can't remember how they, did they leave it that Queenan's character was the mole?
Yeah, they kind of leave it like that. So they screw his widow over.
Well,
what Sullivan does.
What I got a little confused at is, so at the end, William Costigan's calling, or no, it's the other way. Sullivan calls the cell phone that was supposed to be for the mole. Or no, sorry, he's calling.
Yes. Wow.
I can't remember what happened first. Sullivan called Queenan's number, last out number.
He had Queenan's phone, right?
Yeah.
He called the unknown number, thinking that had to be his contact because he knew only Queenan and Dignam.
Yeah, and he's like, you're calling from a dead guy's phone.
Right.
So they start to talk, and I thought that he was doing that to figure out if he was the mole. But then he's all like, come on in, we'll get this set up.
No, he knew he's the mole.
He didn't. He didn't, because when he comes in and Sullivan comes in and he's like, okay, let me go get your paperwork. This computer's all fluey. I'm going to go. And he goes and does his thing. And then while he's out of the room, Costigan gets up and goes and looks at his desk. He's, kind of standing up, walking around.
Oh, no. Okay. You mean Costigan didn't know Sullivan was the mole? Yes.
No, and vice versa.
No. See, that's where you're wrong. Sullivan knew that was because of the phone.
No, he didn't. He didn't, because Costigan is looking around his room. He sees the envelope. He pulls it out and he sticks it back and he gets out of there. And then Sullivan comes back in. Yeah, your paperwork's all in order. You're all set, because he was just looking him up and saw that it was all legit. He comes in with the paperwork, and then he sees he's not there, and then he looks at his desk and he sees the envelope is moved. Then he runs in and starts to delete him, putting 2 and 2 together.
Well, no. See, you're misinterpreting it. He knew he was the mole. What he realized was now he knows I'm the mole. See, he thought he was safe.
Oh, I got you.
Now he realizes that envelope. He's like, shit, he knows I'm the mole. He can finger me. So he goes and deletes the record so that now he can kill him free and clear because he's just a mobster.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course they do. That's why he was telling committed.
Well, yeah, and
that's the reason he wanted to meet with him. To see if he recognized him. Because now remember, he knew the mole sort of saw him with the theater incident.
Oh, sure.
And that's why he kept questioning Queenie before he was dead, going, your guy didn't see anything? Maybe he saw something.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I knew that part of it. I knew he was trying to figure out if he got ID'd in some fashion.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is why he was bringing him in.
Which is funny because I felt that was a little off. I'm like, he should have been able to be like, okay, you know, I'm 5'6". He's probably a little taller than me. So the guy's probably, you know, medium build. He would have given some details.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because he saw him. Yeah. Because he was already in the theater. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember. Yeah, he saw Matt Damon Sullivan come into the theater and sit down. Because it's after that Jack
recognize him.
Right, but like you said, you
that ball cap down and everything. And
but again, you're not going to know the face.
Right.
But you would have a physical rough description.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, there it is.
Yeah.
But overall, still loved it. But again, while I was misremembering a few of them, the overall consensus or my thoughts were the same when I finished watching it, as I thought they just portrayed most. And again, not everybody's privy, but there were enough of them that I thought in and out of the unit that would have went. A lot of things not adding up here.
Right. No, for sure. And it answered some questions for me too, because there's just so much to that movie, and it's like
there is
literally you have to watch it a couple of times, and I think that's why I was so dumbfounded. I'm like, okay, what did I just see and what just happened? Because it all happened so quick, and then Costigan Jr. there gets shot at the end of the movie, and I'm like, what? Yep. And then
everybody kind of dies.
Everybody gets shot.
Except for Dignam.
Yeah. I still love his character. He's such a prick.
Yeah, he's an ass. Yeah, no doubt. It's all about, your experiences. So, and part of it's just his quirks. It's how he gets what he wants out of people.
Well, yeah, and it was just well written. Not everybody was the same. Everybody had a different personality, a different. Even Queenan sticks up for him. He's like,
yes,
he's got his own. We all have to live with it.
Heard that before.
Yeah. Yep. That's awesome.
So, but so awesome. So that wraps up our. I don't know if you call it a review, but
no, it was more of a discussion. We're not Siskel and Eberting it. It's just our discussion about a film we really enjoyed and had a bit of a difference in opinion on.
Yes.
Good. Well, have a good vacation, and I'm sure I'll talk to you at some point. Yes,
definitely. And, I'll probably chit-chat with you when I'm down there for a bit,
Yeah.
Show you the beach.
Yeah. That's what we can't have. Fucker.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, Stupid, this is Stupid signing off.
All right, too bad.
Bye.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing the outro to Departed 2 after the recently viewing. Well, some of the finer details might have been slightly off, but I feel in the end, after our discussion, I swayed Jerry to my side, and he agreed.
Excuse me.
So overall, I will consider it a win, although I was off on some of the finer details. But overall, the general assertion remained intact.
Insertion. What movie were you watching? I think I watched the wrong one.
I meant to say assertion, I think. I believe that was the word I was supposed to use.
Probably. We'll leave that in there.
Well, you know, the other thing I noticed is people are always fidgeting with it, so it gives me something to play with.